Welcome, everybody. This is episode 16 of Lunch Academy. I am your co-host, Sam, and as always, star of the show on this miserable day,
Hello.
Sade.
Hello. Hi,
Hello.
everyone.
Camera is over there. I noticed we're having more eye contact today.
Hi.
Yeah, for those that you don't know or are listening retrospectively, it is pouring outside. I am drenched, and our guest is also drenched. So welcome, Jamil.
Hi. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So you want to probably move a little bit closer to the mic.
Okay.
I'm going to make you lean forward there.
There you go.
But Jamil, actually, what's your full name? See, I am not prepared.
Jamil Karim.
Jamil Karim.
Mr. Karim, we talked about this, that we're going to call him Sir Karim on
Sir.
the show.
Sir is fine, or Your Honor.
Sir, Your Honor. Okay, we'll try to do that. We do have some honorable gifts for you later on. But Jamil has been working with Innovate BC since 2017, right?
You got it.
What is this about?
Been in communications for 10 years.
You got it.
That's
Feels
a
like
lot.
He's only been in communication with other people for 10 years.
He's been
So
talking to,
what
does
happened
that even
before
mean?
that?
Like,
What
a career in communications mean? Are you just really good at talking to people?
Yeah, well, actually, it's incredible to think what a career in communications is. If I think back to when I graduated, which seems like forever ago, I've done PR, journalism, freelancing, project management, and now I'm here at Innovate BC. I taught English to preschool students.
Really?
So
For how long did
communications-
you do that?
About 2 years.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Great form of birth control if you're ever looking for it. I was like, oh my god, I could only
I
have
never
this.
want children ever.
But to answer your question, a career in communications is pretty much anything you want to put your mind to, it seems like.
It's awesome.
awesome.
Awesome. We're going to dive deeper into that, but first, I hinted towards it. What's the weather report, Sade?
Oh, yes. Okay. Weather forecast for this week is actually, guys, there's faith. Even though it's really shitty out today. Am I allowed to say shitty? Whatever. We swear every time.
You just compounded by asking.
Asking you.
It's rainy and gross and half rain, half slush, half snow out there. So, but stay strong, because over the weekend we are going to get some sun on Saturday and Sunday, and a lot of sun on Monday. So
That'll really ice up the snow.
yeah, let's hope for some above zero weather so that we don't have
But
ice
it
everywhere.
was snowing crazily last night. Like,
You know what
I was
happened?
wondering, it's like, okay, can Sade just do this show without? Because I live in Coquitlam, so
Oh,
so
jeez.
it's a much bigger trek than for you guys. And I was thinking, like, oh, Sade can do this show. It's no problem. I'll Foodora you and some food, and we'll call it a day. Then it started raining, and that was. I mean, it worked out, right? Like the conditions of the road are much better now. People are driving a little bit more sane.
Last night I parked a car to go and left it there for like 3 hours as I was meeting a friend for dinner. And then turns out that car to go was still there, so I booked it again. And I had to get people to push me out of the parking slot because the car to go couldn't go over the snow that had accumulated around it.
Yeah,
And it was so
crazy last
funny.
night.
Like, I got 3 people off the street to just push my car to go off.
Vancouver people dealing with snow should be its own TV show, I feel like.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of Canada, we're so soft, I feel
That
like.
is
No,
that is
so
a reality. We're just not prepared, right?
Yeah.
And then we have these mental freakouts. And I remember, like, on Monday and Tuesday of this week when we were having those big snowstorms, like, I was having anxiety not knowing what it was like outside. When I got outside, it was the fastest trip home I've ever been home, because I feel like people got so anxious they just decided to just hide out.
There was no traffic.
There was no traffic at all, and the roads were clear. Like, I gotta give kudos to the folks on the road. Like, they did a pretty good job cleaning up the road pretty fast this time. Sometimes it's not so good, but this time I gotta give them some props, give them some
There you
podcast daps. But like it was just crazy. It's just like mentally we're not prepared for this, and like I was born in the East, and I was like, this is why I moved.
Yeah.
It's so
Make it
funny
stop.
when it's snowing outside and I'm at home. It's like I need like another layer of protection. Like, I'll just go
Yep.
in bed. You know, I need an extra layer of protection from the snow just to make sure I don't interact with it.
Can't mentally deal. Well, guys, that's your weather report.
It's an extended weather forecast.
We are all softies and can't deal. That's the report.
You're from the East, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, so before we get too deep into it, I have a little bit of gift for you guys. So as you guys may know, there was a recent. It's not a holiday, but it's a public event.
Yeah.
Can you guys take a guess which public event?
What? No.
Which public event was recent?
Chinese New Year?
Well,
Yes.
that is actually the right guess. I was
Wow.
thinking you guys were gonna talk about Valentine's Day, but no, I skipped Valentine's Day.
You know what? I just literally
But-
forgot Valentine's Day happened at all.
We are sad people. That is what we were discovering. Valentine's Day is canceled due to snow. I'm jumping back a little bit to Lunar New Year. So So before that, we were doing some brainstorming, I was doing some brainstorming about like what I could bring for you guys to enjoy today. And then I found out that Jamil is vegetarian, and I found out that Chinese people are not very respectful of vegetarians.
No.
Frankly speaking.
You know what? Sam texted me being like, "Can Jamil eat meat?" And I was like, "Jamil is vegetarian." And then his response was, "Are eggs vegetarian?"
We'll let it slide here. I feel like
because I feel like I was looking for something that was flour related, right?
right.
And I had the gut feeling that they used like egg to mix in with the flour. So
Right.
and then so I didn't know, right? It was like a vegetarian thing, but then they said made with egg. I was like, that's weird. Like
That's
like
fine.
every other menu on the item is already meat, and then you have this one veggie item, and then you make it with eggs.
Well, I appreciate the effort, man. This is next level.
So I'll bring this over here. Yeah,
Food time.
just leave it in the bag. It was difficult to find, but I managed to get some veggie dumplings.
Okay.
Oh, right on.
So let me just.
I'll show the camera.
So there's some chopsticks for you.
Look
There's
at
some
that.
Chopsticks for you. So actually, like, I was trying to do some research in this, which is like a ridiculous part of like not knowing my own heritage. I am Chinese, for those that are wondering. But dumplings are supposed to kind of signify wealth. And actually, like, I kind of feel like Chinese people, whenever they want to eat something during like a certain period, they just say it signifies wealth, because like spring rolls,
They're sticking together.
I think
man.
you got to eat all of them, man.
No way. Can you imagine all this in one bite? Give me a second. Let me get this out. Shada, you want to jump in here on this? They like will not come. Let's work this together.
So
baby.
the dumplings are all stuck together. So this is one from a place called La Tigre. I've never been there, but the original dumpling place that I went to is apparently closed on Fridays, which kind of led to the hecticness of this morning of where am I going to find another place that's going to have vegetarian dumplings. So this is
Okay,
a
so I'm
whole.
gonna eat this and then I become wealthy.
It's supposed to signify wealth.
Oh.
So let me
That's
just
delicious.
let me just quickly
I'm
Google. It's
impressed.
got egg. It's got eggplant, which is not eggs. Eggplant caviar, wood ear. I don't know what that is. Konyaku,
Oh my god, this is so good.
kale, shiitake, which is a mushroom,
Yeah.
and then vegetables.
So we're having caviar right now.
Eggplant caviar.
If you're gonna ignore the first part of that, I think. Yeah.
So how was it?
It was delicious.
So it's supposed to signify wealth, because I think the way some dumplings are made, and not all dumplings, kind of look like that, like gold nugget. But then at the same time, spring rolls was supposed to be like a gold bar. So that was like everything is like, yeah, it could kind of shape like gold
Everything can
if
be
you
gold.
if you have a good imagination, and then we just eat a lot. So enjoy that throughout the show. But let's get back to you. Like, you've been with I want to say the BC Tech Summit, but it says Innovate BC.
You got it.
Yeah. For 2 years. Like, what's that like? Like, I know there's a lot going on with what you guys do, and you have multiple teams doing multiple things. What's your experience been like? Just entering in. Actually, maybe let me jump back a little bit. Like, how you talked about like doing English and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
what made you jump into tech?
You know what? So, like I said, I feel like an old man, which I'd have described in like 10 years. But so I had done a whole bunch of different jobs, working PR, freelance writing, project management, teaching English. And then you kind of get to a point where you're like, I don't want to just work for the sake of work, and you got to try to find something that like you're passionate about. You want to try to help people. And then I came across a job at what was then BC Innovation Council, and it seemed to check off like every box that I wanted. And sure enough, they actually wanted me to, which was a nice feeling, because you go to interview, you're like, oh, they're never gonna give me the job. But sure enough, I convinced my old boss to do it, and then I got the job. And then since then, it's been pretty crazy actually. In the last like 18 months, we have held 2 BC Tech Summits. We would have rebranded, right, our organization.
Which, like, your new brand looks amazing.
Look
Congrats
at that.
on that.
And we hear that? That's excellent. That's the kind of feedback we're looking for actually on a new brand. It was a lot of work actually, and props to National for helping us out with that. But there's kind of a lot's been kind of going on. And in addition to the summits and the rebrand, we also have a bunch of programs that support like student hiring, research projects, connecting tech buyers with solution providers, the venture acceleration program. So we have a lot of other programs as well. I always tell people, when you think of like Innovate BC, like we help all size companies from like startups all the way to like Microsoft and Google. We take care of the whole province because we're a crown agency, and we go cross sector. So if you're mining, forestry, ag, real estate, retail, AR, VR, blockchain,
Wow.
clean tech, like IoT, you name it, we work with you. So pretty much if you have a pulse in this province, we almost surely have a program that can support your business growth. And it's great because we've had some hiring recently. And so we're government funded, right? Which means we're crown agencies, we're funded and mandated by the government. And I always tell people, if you want to work for a crown agency because you want like the benefits and the vacation and all that, that is like cool and like perfectly reasonable. But there are like a handful of like crown agencies in the province. Almost all of them would love to have you. But if you're going to be here at Innovate BC, you have to be willing to like, there's got to be an innate desire to want to help people because there's so many companies in tech. It's a cliche, but it's kind of everywhere. So we help so many different people and so many different companies. If there's no innate like, want and desire to want to help people, you're never going to be able to do the job the best way you can. So it's been a big part of like our hiring process and why I think our team across the whole board is so strong. Because everyone kind of has that same kind of common denominator of wanting to help people and help the ecosystem
like
grow.
Going above and beyond to really make it happen for that company. Yeah.
You got it, Shade, and that's what really the people at Innovate BC really help attract people and help retain people at the company because everyone is really like-minded. And surprisingly, for a government crown agency, a lot of people are young.
Yeah.
You would think you walk in there, you see a bunch of old people roaming. Oh, that's actually not what it is. Everyone who works there is really young and passionate about tech, which really makes it a great place to work.
The Innovate BC crew is always the cool crew at the party.
I thought we were the cool crew.
No, we're not.
I thought you were
I've
the
been
cool
telling
crew.
people the wrong thing.
We're cool. But have you seen Innovate BC's staff at a social event? They're so fun.
This
They're
is a
so
subtle
hip.
hint for me to go back to the gym.
You need to be
This-
hip
this-
and fun.
This is really
Sam.
what it is. Hip and
Also,
fun.
It's like having a high retention rate in your company in Vancouver is so valuable. I feel, especially if you want young people in your company, it's so hard to retain staff in the city. There's so many incredible opportunities, and everybody, I don't know if you guys have noticed, in Vancouver is like overly ambitious with their life, and they're just always thinking about the next thing. Like, people do not settle in this city, which means that if you're going to keep your staff, you're going to really provide some like exciting growth and exciting changes and like always be stimulating their career path, because otherwise you'll just lose your staff.
Well, you're totally right.
And that's truncated by the tech industry as well. So
Totally.
it's pretty normal. So like, tell me a little bit for the listeners, for the founders out there, what's the right starting point to get in contact with their program or your programs or your events or things like that?
So there are a few different ways. Our website is really the best point of access to get to us, and that was also part of the rebrand. So the website's really cool. And I don't know if you saw our old website, the BCIC one. It wasn't really like the most user-friendly website. The one we have now is outstanding.
Yeah.
And if you go there, you can find out how you can get funding from us. You can find out how we can connect you with experts in the industry.
I was looking at that actually just before the show, and this is the first thing that I caught my eye on your website. Was it what's called the Innovation Marketplace?
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's a tool I had no idea existed, and I think it'd be really super valuable to just broadcast out to the tech community for sure.
The Innovation Marketplace is awesome. It's kind of a new kind of initiative for Innovate BC, and I know Fernanda and Meg are listening right now. They're super happy because they absolutely love when I talk about this. So.
Yes.
Shout out to those guys.
No doubt.
God.
Meg used to be here at Launch Academy, right? So she should definitely be listening, I feel like. But the Innovation Marketplace, like, to simply describe it, it connects large tech buyers, so large private organizations or large government organizations who have business challenges, and we connect those organizations with the challenges to BC tech SME solution providers. So we're trying to connect problems with solutions. And it's great for the large tech buyers because you can get homegrown solutions right here, and we can facilitate the whole challenge process. And for the solution providers, well, we have an opportunity now to have these large organizations as customers, partners, referrals. And if you can work with them, not only do you have an opportunity for follow-up contracts, but you can also work with other similar organizations who are looking to innovate and have business challenges as well. So industry.
So what you guys do is sort of like validate that service provider, that software provider, to those big companies so that they stand a chance to provide.
You got it. Like a lot of times you'll see a large organization, they have business challenges that need to be solved with tech. Now they have a hard time really describing what the challenge is or kind of formulating that so like an innovator in BC here can actually find a solution for it. And we always like to say we try to find local solutions to global challenges.
Nice.
Right? And the local solutions are here. There are so many talented tech entrepreneurs and innovators within the province. You guys know this already. And that's like, and when we say the whole province, we really mean the whole province. From like, we're talking Rossland and the Kootenays all the way up to like Kitimat, right? We reach out to our whole network and try to get these business opportunities in front of them. Because, you know, we can offer funding, we can help you try to start your business, but at the end of the day, you need customers, right?
Yeah.
And you need partners, and this is kind of a great way for us to try to bring those two together.
What's the turnaround like usually for a project to you know, get taken on by, I guess, a founder or a solution from the website, and then to actually get in contact, get working with them? Like, what's the turnaround like usually?
So great question. It all really depends on the challenge and the client. It's not the best answer, but it varies though from client to client. I'll give you a couple reference points here. We just did an AI justice challenge with the Ministry of Attorney General, which is really cool. Like, the Ministry of Attorney General was looking for AI solutions to some of their court system business problems.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems like the courts are kind of seem like an old school, and AI is very new. So it was kind of cool to merge these together. And they went through a procurement process through government. So that changed the timeline just a little bit compared to other challenge processes. And basically, at Innovate BC, we help the client define the challenge. In this case, we worked with the ministry to define those challenges, put them together, put that to the innovation community. And then once we were able to find solution providers for the challenges, at that point, we take the company, we take the ministry, and then they work together. Because now this does not involve us anymore. We've done the connection, we found the companies, and now they go and work together. So a lot of times these result in contracts and funding that comes with it, and potential follow-on contracts as well. If you just include this challenge process itself, it could range anywhere between 6 and 12 months.
Cool.
How is there any like eligibility requirements to be part of this?
Almost always we try to focus the opportunities for BC companies, right? Because we're a crown agency. There's no point really offering those opportunities to either companies in other parts of the province or international. But usually if you have a solution, you're eligible to, you don't have to be a tech company, you can be any company. If you have a solution, I mean, as long as it's a local solution, I don't think the client really cares what industry you're in. They just need the solution to solve their business challenge, right? Some might be more specific. Rio Tinto, so they run a huge smelter up in Kitimat. So they're a private organization, obviously, and they were looking for drone technology to effectively measure some of their stockpiles of raw materials. So in that one specifically, you needed like specific tech in order to do this. So that one, there was some finite eligibility requirements that were needed, but other than that, we're open to everyone we know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So what specifically does your role entail at Innovate BC?
Oh, I do nothing there, man. Actually,
Show up.
Well, you're here, so technically, I mean, we're all working.
I'll take that. No, so I'm fortunate because my job allows me to do kind of a little bit of everything at Innovate BC. So right now, me and the whole rest of the team there, our whole lives are kind of consumed by the summit, which is pretty cool because it's such a huge event and it impacts so many people. But when we're not, and with that means writing the press releases, creating marketing partnerships, which we're working with Launch on, working with some of the media partnerships and the PR firm. We do all the marketing for the programs. Obviously, we run about 5 different programs. So we have a kind of a 4 or 5 person marketing team, which is great. They're super talented. And together we work to really promote the programs through digital, through traditional media, through partnerships. So a little bit of everything we kind of do. We have a new CEO, which we'll get into later on. So working with them to kind of prep them as to like really who we are, what we do, even though he kind of knows that, to kind of learn from the inside perspective. So there's kind of a lot that goes into marketing. We're fortunate because we get to work with every single department because everything kind of eventually has to come back through marketing.
Yeah.
So it gives us a great opportunity to work with a lot of great people and a lot of great departments.
So let's talk about the BC Tech Summit. What is it and when is it?
So the BC Tech Summit is Western Canada's largest annual innovation conference. So it takes place this year from March 11th to 13th, which is less than a month away.
Oh my God.
I want to say we're
Guys,
about 17 work days from this, I think.
This last month just flew by.
Yeah.
This month is shorter.
Yeah.
And it's shorter by a day. We have a holiday coming up on the Monday.
Not to stress you out,
I
right?
know, jeez.
Yeah.
No, but
Okay, so March.
so it's coming up here in just less than a month, and it's really a unique opportunity for to meet with industry, academia, entrepreneurs, startups, investors, government, all kind of under one roof for 3 days, right? And we bring in like Microsoft, Google, TELUS from that huge industry perspective. We have incredible discounts for startups to try to get more startups to attend. We want our ecosystem on full display at this event. The house isn't sitting for government, so you're getting a lot of government officials coming, which is really cool. So you can connect directly with different ministries on different challenges. So it's really a great business opportunity to kind of come to the summit, meet all these people in one shot. We have a great speaker lineup. We have some really cool keynotes and programs.
What are some of your favorites, just to throw some names out there?
Ooh.
Or are you allowed to play favorites?
Oh, in order to play favorites, in case John Horgan, the premier, is going to be there, so we'll put him out first. And my boss, William Johnson's actually moderating one of the panels as well. So I'll get those two out first.
Perfect.
But from a general perspective, we have some really cool keynotes. Eric O'Neill, so he used to be an FBI agent, and he helped take down one of the most notorious spies in U.S. history.
Wow.
And there's actually a movie made about him called Breach.
Okay.
Came out in like 2001, which is probably before half the people
God.
listening here were even born. But
Fair
Ryan
enough.
Felipe played him in the movie.
What?
Which isn't bad, actually.
That's a
That's
great byline. Ryan Felipe played me
Yeah.
in a movie.
I
Oh my
always
God.
felt like Brad Pitt or George Clooney would play me
Yeah.
in a movie,
Yeah,
but if
yeah.
they weren't available, Ryan
Guys,
Felipe would
I
be.
don't know what this person looks like. I'm Googling him.
But so he's really cool. He'll talk
Yeah.
about cybersecurity, and he'll kind of talk about how he even use cybersecurity to kind of track down the spy
Yeah.
and how that all works.
Wow.
So that was really cool. So he'll be a great speaker.
Does
for
he
us.
look similar to this Ryan Felipe dude?
Yes, let's go with yes.
Identical.
Separated at birth type deal there for sure.
We've lost Shot.
Shot is deep into Ryan Felipe. Google images there. Manjeet Minhas, who's a dragon on Dragon's Den. She
Okay.
also runs Minhas
Wow.
Breweries, which is one of the largest breweries in the world. So she'll talk about how to scale your company,
Mm-hmm.
which is really important, especially for tech companies here in BC. Tan Lee is a huge boss, actually. From Vietnam, was a lawyer in Australia. Georgia Strait, Kate Wilson just did a super sick article about her. It was on the cover of the Georgia Strait, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Great article Kate wrote, and talks about how Tan Lee, so she works with this brainwave company, and the coolest thing they've done that I've seen to date is they had a paraplegic drive an F1 car with his brainwaves. So the tech allows you to kind of understand a person's brainwaves, and it's machine learning. So he was able to turn the car left and right using his brainwaves. So he didn't even have to drive it.
That's insane.
It's super cool, and she'll talk all about that at the summit, which is great. And then we also have really boss sessions too. We have Fin AI, Bench, and Article on BC's fastest growing companies with Sean Stilcoff from the
Hey,
Globe and Mail.
Fan AI is an alumni.
Oh, great shout out.
Yeah.
Great. So
Shout
we're
out to
super
Jake and
excited
Nat.
about that because those are some of Canada's fastest growing companies, and we have them all in one shot. The Super 5, we have the 5 heads of the Canadian Innovation Superclusters all in the same room, all at the same time for the first time ever.
Very
Wow.
So
cool.
that'll be really exciting, actually. That's a really high-profile session for us. We have another one on the future of work, like what the workforce will look like in 2050.
Is sweatpants involved?
Judging by the looks of it right now, I think 2050 is already happening now. But
Leggings and sweatpants, please.
I was telling these guys, I feel overdressed in jeans here.
That's the thing. Every single episode, they don't really know what we're wearing.
Yeah.
Because
Leggings
it's
is-
just
I
it's
look
all
put
tops,
together.
right?
You know, you're right. Actually.
So we could be, shorts and sandals underneath. They would never know.
And then I think my favorite session of the whole BC Tech Summit, and I hate to give credit to my buddy Alistair, who's our program manager. I think this is his idea, but it's Once to Watch. So it's BC's best kind of under the radar companies that we're going to feature on the stage. So if you're looking to find out who the next maybe big tech companies that you haven't heard of yet, Once to Watch is the stage to go to.
That's so cool. How
Yeah.
did you guys come up with that list? Like, was it an application process? Did you guys have a judging panel?
We're fortunate to have a lot of contacts in the industry who we talked to about who they thought would be a good fit for the stage.
That's awesome.
As part one of our programs is the Venture Acceleration Program, where we actually fund 11 different accelerators around the province, which gives us access to a bunch of really early
Yeah.
stage companies. So we tapped into some of the EDs at these accelerators to find out who would be
Yeah.
a great fit for this. And we have a great mix of regional companies, different industries. I don't want to give away too much because it's going to be really cool, but it's
Yeah.
that's a really cool idea. We've never really done this before, a Once to Watch stage, so I'm super stoked about it.
Cool.
I'm
So
excited to see all that. I'll
maybe
be there.
give one more. How can people get access?
So for the BC Tech Summit, there's a bunch of different ways you can access the event for below full cost price. So one of them is through our marketing partnership with Launch. So if you're not a startup, there's a promo code BC Tech 19-Industry that gets you in at $400 off the full conference price, which is solid.
BC Tech Industry.
You know what? Alana has the code.
Alana has
so
the code.
soon
So
you
we'll
guys will
we'll
get
make
it.
sure to populate that code for anybody that's listening.
BC
No, so
Tech
that's
dash
but that's not
industry.
even the best one actually. I kind of buried the lead here. The we have a great startup rate. So for $199, startups can attend the summit. That's like
$199. That's
eight-
insane.
It's like $800 off the full conference price. That is absolutely absurd. So it's really
Wow.
great price, which we really want startups at the event. It's key. And we know like it's hard to afford $1,000 ticket. Like it's like no one really wants to pay that for your startup. So we're really making a big effort to try to get them at the event. Now, if you're a startup and you want to participate more than just like attending the event, exhibitor packages cost about $5,000, but for startups, they're $1,000. So again, similar discount of 80% off. Again, we want to showcase the startups we have here in BC, and that's all over the province. We're reaching out to startups to try to get them in. Again, if you want more info about the startup pricing and the exhibitor packages, just shoot me a line in my email just on the Innovate BC website, and I can run you through all the different startup options we have to get you to the event cheaper. But that's your best bet to attend the event at the cheapest possible price.
And for our members watching, I'll just put that into our newsletter on Monday so they can get on that. Sure.
Right on.
Terrific. So moving along, you hinted to the changes earlier. You guys have a new CEO.
We do, man. So Ragwell Gopal, he was the old CEO at Accelerate Okanagan. Huge boss. He was there for like 40 years in Kelowna, and now we got him coming down to Vancouver. He's got to try to find a place to live. I'm like,
oh my God.
I told him I'd Airbnb my couch to him. Did not. Actually, it's like Ragwell's first official day is like today.
Oh,
wow, that's exciting.
This is hot news.
It's very hot news right here. But it's a little unfortunate. His first day as CEO, I'm out here leaving work early to come hang out with you guys.
Just leaving him alone to fend for himself.
Yeah, making an outstanding first impression on the guy.
That's amazing.
But we're super stoked to have Ragwell on board, and especially our partners are really excited to have him on board as well. I was talking to Ray earlier before I jumped in here about, and he's super excited, I know, to have Ragwell on board because they go back. And a lot of our B-Camp partners, like the accelerators, are super excited to have him as well because he's seen it from their side of the equation as well.
For sure.
So what is he coming in with that will change things at Innovate BC? Like, does he have any new visions? Does he have any goals? Have you guys talked about that? Is that something that we can talk about?
I presume he does. However, given that it's his first day, and
he's probably had lunch by now.
Yeah,
right?
He's like, my goal is to survive this first day.
And given I left the office at like 11 a.m., I don't know if I can really speak to his goals at this point in time. But I think right now he's coming in. He's got to kind of get familiar with how things work at Innovate BC, and then before he knows it, he's speaking at the Tech Summit.
Yeah,
right, because we got that going on. So he's got to get
the ground running. Yeah,
he's hitting the ground sprinting. This dude, I feel like, but we're super excited to have him. If you talk to anyone in the industry who knows him, no one's got a bad thing to say about him. So we're really excited to have him on board.
We're excited too.
Just a chill Okanagan guy.
Coming in here, God forbid, just deal with Vancouver pricing and with everything he's going. So
he's getting the pricing, but the Ontario weather.
Well, and I was joking with Ragwell the other day. Actually, I'm like, he moves from Kelowna to Vancouver, but he brought the snow with him. It looks like.
Oh my God.
But no, that's a huge change for us to have Ragwell on board. Can't wait for him to really kind of get started here. But in terms of his vision and his goals for the organization, that might be something we discuss on a later podcast or something. Because right now we
sounds like we're gonna have to bring him in, make some calls.
Yeah.
You talk to your people, I'll talk to my people. First, I got to find some people to become my people, and then the people will talk.
And I'm just gonna call Ragwell my people because our new CEO, so we'll go with that. But no, we're
awesome.
so I can't speak too much about what he's got planned for the future. But right now, there's just a lot of positivity around him joining our organization.
So maybe more on the general tech ecosystem. What excites you and kind of gets you kind of keeping going with your work every day and seeing the tech companies?
There's quite a few things here. I feel, one, the people we have in the ecosystem are outstanding. Like, look at some of the people, like, running some of the big organizations. I talked about Ragwell at length about how great we think he is. We have some great people around, like Dan Gunn, Lincoln Smith, Angie Schick at New Ventures, outstanding. Ray. Dan Berger, the VRAR Association. We have some really great.
Dan Berger gets shout outs every episode. How do you do
it's
it?
Dan Berger and Shade's mom. Like, it's the most shout outs. Shout out to Shade's mom.
You know what? I'm going to try to find a way to work her into one of these answers.
Anyway, sorry, I cut you off.
I think we have great people. Jill Tipping's another person. Outstanding, obviously, in the industry. So we have a lot of great people here in the industry. And especially like the way we're trying to bring tech into more traditional industries excites me a lot. It's happening everywhere, but in BC you see it a lot. I don't want to shout out Dan again, but the head of the VRAR Association knows this firsthand in terms of how we can bring AR and VR tech into traditional industries like forestry, ag, and mining. A lot of the innovation marketplace challenges we do brings that tech into more traditional heritage industries. And that really excites me because there's a huge opportunity there for our tech companies to get customers and partners and opportunities by working with large organizations, like whether it's Cam4, whether it's tech, you name it. So it's there's a lot of opportunity there, and that really excites me. And look at the opportunities and the people kind of leading and championing our industry. I think we're in a good spot.
Where do you see the Vancouver industry in the next 3 years in terms of like the industries that are going to be dominating the Vancouver tech industry?
Well,
Sorry, I said industry like a million times.
no, don't worry about it. It is hard to find a synonym for it sometimes because it's such a great way to describe it. I think
Groups of stuff.
yeah, it's hard to worry about that. But I think, God, I can't remember this again. AR/VR is huge. We have such a huge industry here, and it's growing.
No, I mean, we agree.
And of course, you guys, I'm preaching to the choir on that one, but I think that's a huge potential there for us. AI is another big one. We're going to talk a lot about AI at the summit and how business can adopt AI, kind of bring their business more into like the 2020 and beyond. But I think AR/VR and AI are two big ones. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about clean tech a little bit. We're a primary funder of of Foresight, the clean tech accelerator, and I mean, if you look at the BC Clean Energy Plan that came out not too long ago, I mean, there's so much emphasis being placed on clean tech and sustainability initiatives that we have a great opportunity here to really take that by the horn with Foresight and being one of the leaders of that.
Yeah.
To really kind of take this and make good on some of these promises the government's made, because there's a great opportunity here for us to try to come in with more sustainable initiatives that can help all industries grow across the province.
Awesome. Yeah. So on the flip side, what do you think is still missing or lacking or could be improved in our current ecosystem?
I'm going to refer to the BC Tech report card that came out about a couple months ago that was led by KPMG and the BC Tech Association. And BC Tech broke this down even recently on their blog with recommendations based off that report card. But you look at things we're missing. Talent can be a bit of a problem in terms of developing talent and retaining talent, right? A lot of times they could leave elsewhere for more money or more job opportunities. Although we have a lot of job opportunities here, we just need the qualified people for developers and whatnot. Anchor companies is another big one. We don't really have a lot of those. And even just cost of living is another problem, right? Now, each of those is tackleable on their own. When you combine them together, it kind of creates a bit of a hurdle for us to get over. But talent, I think, is a really big one. And that starts all the way from like K to 12, reimagining that and how we can really train our people better. And one example of this you'll see at the summit is a Youth Innovation Day. We bring in 1,000 students from around the province. We bring them for free. They come in and they hear some really cool speakers in the industry, and then they get to go and learn and like try actual tech work. So you get to learn how to, some animation, we get to learn how to code. We try to make them leave with hard skills that might encourage them to pursue a career in STEM, which would be great. But developing our talent from K to 12, I think, is really important, and then working to keep that talent. We have so many great startups and companies here that need developers and need really hard tech employees, but we got to develop those here. So I think that's a challenge for us now, but I think that's a commitment that's being made by a lot of industry leaders here in the province to try to fix that so we can develop and retain our talent.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. No, that's fantastic. It sounds like we got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
Well, that's the plan,
Yeah. And it's nice to think of the future as Vancouver being like a self-sustainable kind of ecosystem where, starting kind of initiatives young, like where you go in and you influence kids to think about future career goals rather than stick to like the kind of norm of options that you have.
Totally.
It's like so important to show them that if you go into tech, you can really work in any industry. It can take you anywhere. It's a really, really great career path.
I agree. We need less marketing people and more tech people. What we need, I think that's the answer.
We need less fluff and like more actual knowledge.
A little less of this, a little more.
That's a good note
Kids,
to end
that's
on.
what you're going to take away from this. Don't be
us.
this person.
You don't want anything to do with this, actually. Go to school, learn how to code.
No, but I think there was a good point. I can't remember who we were talking to. Even, like, marketing is very different today than it was when we were in primary, right?
Oh, totally.
Like you should know HTML, you should know CSS, you should know your way around, like, a couple of these technical things, analytics, all that kind of stuff. That requires a lot of the STEM stuff that you are talking about. So it's not just we're trying to push you to become a developer for tomorrow. Like, the whole ecosystem needs this. So it's not, I'm gonna tongue in cheek a little bit, but it does make a big difference when everybody is on the same page and has a certain level of, like, we used to make this joke about typing, right? Like, if you could type 50 words a minute or whatever, you're hired for something like that. We've moved up a little bit. So
honestly, I think that, like, out of my entire like education kind of path, what I regret the most is not paying attention to the tech stuff. I always pinned myself as like a non-techie person. I was like, whatever, I'm not a techie person. I'm going to be a people person. It's like, yeah, that's great. But with where the world is going now, I just wish I had more actual hard technology knowledge, because I don't like I went to one like intro to coding for women event.
Cool.
And I just to because to me, before even going to this event, I just thought it's magic. Everything that happens on my phone, on my computer, on the TV, is just, to me, it's just magic, and I was okay with that.
Totally.
And then I went to this event and I was like, wow, a lot of work goes into this. There's a whole different, there's like a million different languages that have to do with this, and I know nothing about it, and that's crazy.
And she already knows 4 languages.
Yeah. It's scary. I wish I knew more, so kids learn this in school now.
And just, play with stuff, right? Like I like to joke, so shout out to our producer lady Giselle, because like this doesn't happen without her. And she's actually our intern. But to do this podcast, last week we finally wrote down the documentation on what it takes to do this podcast. 47 steps, guys. Pre-show, not on air, not us babbling, not the show notes, not the food, just setting it up. 47 steps.
47 steps and we come and ruin it. We get on the air.
So just keep that stuff in mind. Like I think it's super fun time if you're young and you're trying things, to try and do a podcast, try and do a YouTube channel, not for the sake of just getting famous, but just for the sake of tinkering, right? Like that's really gonna help you. And I'm biased, but like a lot more than some of the other stuff that you might even learn in school.
Yeah. Totally.
But anyway, I'm on to my like school rant again, and I can feel it coming. So let's just push past that, and let's go to the announcements, Shade.
Yes. Well, first, maybe we should start with Jamil. Do you have any announcements?
Do I have? I think I've talked at length about the Tech Summit.
Yeah.
Which is great, but
anything else coming up?
What was the date again?
March 11th to 13th. Great segue, great plug for that, Sam. Appreciate that. No, it'll be a lot of fun, a lot of parties, a lot of network opportunities, a lot of cool sessions. Come, and if you want to get to it cheaper, just hit me up.
Sweet. Well, on our part, we don't have much going on for the next 2 weeks. So the only thing that I will give a shout out to is one of our community events. There's a BDO Canada's VC Pitch Day coming up February 21st. So you do have to apply, and it's a full day event. So if you want to get out there and pitch and practice and meet some cool people, go to the BDO website and sign up.
Yeah, and I mean the reason we don't have any events is because we literally did 3 this week.
We've done so many. Like,
so this is the cap end, and we're a little bit beat, to be completely honest.
Break. We also had our mentor launch party
on Tuesday.
It was awesome. It was so good to see all of our mentors. Jamil, why aren't you a mentor? Is the question.
No one wants.
Why weren't you at the party?
I'm gonna send you the link right
bigger
after
question.
this.
Yeah, do it up. Send me the link.
We've got a roster of like 100+ mentors now, and we're really excited to finally put this into play and get our members to really get some value and also engage our mentors in Launch Academy through workshops and through pitch practices and whatever they feel would be valuable. Like if you wanted to come in and do a presentation or a workshop on whatever you think is important for a startup to know about that you have experience in, we'd welcome you in and you can partake. And it's good. It's a way to like bring in the outside tech ecosystem into Launch Academy. And
that is great.
And interact a little bit more.
And we did have, I think it was 7 or 8 new members coming this month. So we do have a little bit more space. So if you guys are interested in joining Launchpad, joining us, hanging out here, just go on our website, launchacademy.ca/launchpad, and apply. And we accept new members every month until we're out of space, and then we say bye.
And we do want to create value for our mentors as well, and make it really like a network for them. And hopefully in the future host more of these events that brings our mentor together. Because out of that launch mentor party, I feel like at least 10 people walked away with some really great new connections and some new friends in the industry and some new potential partners. And that's the goal here. Yeah.
That was in the middle of a storm, and we're back to weather.
Exactly. So those are my announcements. That's
all right.
It for me.
So before we close, any final remarks? Anybody want to shout out? Now's the time.
Shout out to Danberg.
Oh, and Sade's mom also gets it. We barely got that one in, actually, but there we go.
Oh, man.
Thank you so much for coming, Jamil. That was really nice. And everybody, get on the BC Tech Summit stuff.
No, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, so make sure to like, subscribe, 5 stars, all that nonsense podcast stuff. Woo. And we are out of here. All right. Thank you guys. Any last words?
Bye, everyone.
See ya.